Okay. Welcome. Thank you for joining me here today. For the few that are on with our live stream here, I'm Stephen Yaldwin, General Manager here at Blackfoot Crossing Historical Park. And today, right now, was scheduled to be Grant with the Blackfoot teepees. We had to reschedule, so I'm going to begin introducing the Earth Lodge, and one of the most magnificent sites here, I would say, in Canada, North America, and it's just a true enigma of the plains that there's just not a whole lot understood about it, and it's just fascinating to begin to go through it. So I will start introducing that today, and also as well, after today, shortly after I conclude, will be a residential school experience from nation members of Siksika Nation. So we'll have on there Vincent Yellowwoman and Butch Wolflake. They'll be joining that as part of that to deliver that program there. So have you guys done me some name graphics? Don't put my name on the screen. Don't let the people forget who I am. My handsome face. And as you can see today, I'm dressed exceptionally professional. COVID's closed the building anyhow, so I guess I don't need my suit and tie today. I'll save that for the powwow on Monday. Introduction to, I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say it wrong. I am not a native speaker. And it's funny, the old ladies, they say when I talk Blackfoot, they say it sounds like I'm talking dirty to them. I just tell them, nah, they shouldn't look at me like that. And, you got to get away from that perverse thoughts kind of thing and start encouraging the new up-and-coming generations to pick up and start learning. Our culture has so many different pieces to it. We got language is a piece of our culture, history. You want to just do my name, graphics, 15 seconds and pull it off? Sorry, we're training some young people here. We hired them a few weeks ago. They're actually helping us deliver culture components to the world at large. And I'm so proud of it and what they've been able to do and accomplish here in this amount of time. And these are young fellows just out of high school, basically, and out of training. One's out of state. And they are getting some true experience in the technological aspect and running the live stream stuff. So all that you see here has been done by these young guys. And the thing that's fascinated me about it is they don't speak Blackfoot. They don't really know the culture, but they are helping to deliver that. So they're helping to deliver that knowledge. They're kind of vehicle. They're like the workhorse of the bridge between the elders and to those that want to learn, and using it through this new format. So these young guys, even though they're not, we don't know too much about our culture and history and our language, and being able to do this, we're able to spread it and share it, and in the process we're learning as well. So what these guys are doing, like if you're part of Joanne's this morning, Joanne sets up the content, tells them what she wants to deliver, and then these guys put it into place for her and put it online in this method here, and just amazing graphics, and I'm just so proud of them that they're nation, Siksika Nation youth, and they're willing to looking to learn this new media piece here. So I guess moving on, quick update here. I wanted to deliver this Earth Lodge by the end of the month. I think I was planning for the last Wednesday to include it. And today we kind of had to accelerate it a little bit. So it's still kind of a work in process. And I'd like to think of this as a virtual tour. I guarantee every Siksika member, every Blackfoot, every, man. If you're native, you have long braids, you go on the powwow trail, and you're into culture, the ceremonies, you're doing so much, you're involved. I guarantee that you do not know this information, and that it's now, I'm wanting to start sharing it and deliver it. And I'll give kind of a history here of how this site came to be here. And this is what Blackfoot Crossing is. It's really based on this here and the archaeological, I want to call it an anomaly or something here. It's just something that is just not really available or accessible or studyable like the way we have been working with the archaeological department at U of C. And so U of C comes in and they're very professional. The archaeological program comes in and they just basically do a layer of a few centimeters at a time, and so thorough. Instead of, some other archaeological digs are like inch something at a time, kind of digging through. These guys are very precise, and I'm just so proud that they're able to take that time to do that and actually identify much of what they have into here. So today I'm going to share with you our findings, and much of this is from historic ancient Blackfoots of the old woman's phase. So if could you go to the next slide there? So who were I hear something. Is that a question? No? Okay, so who were you know what, my dad's coming this afternoon, and Butch Wolfleg, they speak very well. We'll get them to record and say what this word is. Ooh, let's try this. What this word is right here. Sakoyi? I don't know. But who were they? These were the occupants and the inhabitants of these earth lodges. Who were they? There's different sources and different different people have provided different detail over the year on who they were. The first actual account that we have written, that we had available here in the archives and that we're able to work with, is that in 1875, Running Rabbit told Cecil Denny that the occupants of this site here at Blackfoot Crossing were ancestral Blackfoot, and they lived in earth lodges or sod houses. Maybe, like some cultures use a mud hut. Well, maybe it's not like that, but it was, everybody associates Blackfoots with teepees. Lords of the Plains, the sites of the plains, teepees, buffalo. And Blackfoots are associated with teepees. But also, too, down here we have these, that's why we call it an enigma. Not too sure what exactly it was. There's a lot of theories. And to tell you the truth, most of the theories I've heard don't really stand up to water. They used to call it a fortified village, like everybody was scared and they dug themselves into the hole like gophers, or maybe military foxholes. That was kind of the perception. I could see different tribes trying to come through here and, oh, the Blackfoots are here, so let's get in this hole like a gopher and pop their heads up and whistle when it's safe. Other Blackfoots are gone. No, I don't think it happened like that. But it's that's what they were basically saying, where the fortified village was, people were hiding and that. And what we're finding of the sizes and the planks is it isn't technically standing up to what would be basically a fortified place for defensive purposes. Okay, and then in 1911, Running Wolf said to Edmund Morris that the people down here, this is on site at Blackfoot Crossing. If you come to Blackfoot Crossing Historical Park and we look out over the main window, over the park, over the river valley, this is down below there. That was the site where not just Blackfoots, but many people, tribes, people that crossed the plains, going from north to southern Alberta. It was one of the few places that year-round, seasonally, you could cross. It was just this, it was called, the word translates into Blackfoot, ridge underwater. And what it was this big, like a clay shelf. As the rivers flowing through, they're very precise. And as it hits this clay shelf, it caused the water to broaden out, and it was just basically at everyone's ankles, maybe mid-calf range, and they were able to walk across safely. And if you've ever been along the Bow River, you see there's a lot of places that you just can't cross. There's cliffs right in the middle. It's 100-foot cliff, and it just goes down into the river there, and it's like that quite a bit all over. In the early 1900s, for agricultural purposes, Siksika Nation lost a big portion of their land, and they put in a dam, and they flooded that part there. It's called Bazzano Dam. And so between now, but historically, between then and then when the dam was built, the river was completely different. It was wild. The fur trade decimated the beaver population. I don't know, not big whites. White people like to wear furry hats. Big furry hats, and that's what the beavers were used for. So in order to fulfill that appetite of the trade commerce, a lot of the, I almost want to say buffalo, beaver were decimated, and they're slowly recovering. And nowadays, when a beaver's doing its job, man, people get offended. They don't like the beaver going down there, dropping their logs, because they change the course of the river. So historically, we didn't have this stupid dam down here, this dam. And we had beavers that changed the flow considerably. So our river valleys were different than what we're used to seeing today. We talk of backwaters, there was lots of backwaters, and it was spread out, and it was magnificent. And right here was, like I said, was a spot where they all got together. They were able to cross safely. So because it was a strategic location, it was populated. There was society living here. There was culture, old Blackfoot culture that is commonly associated with what they call old woman's phase. And it was a strategic location because it provided access north and south to this part of the plains. Sure, you could cross over. If anybody knows, comes on the west side of the reserve by where the breakers live and Clifford Crane Bear, look over at those sites there. Drive to get to green grass from there. And you'll see what I mean. You can't get through Blackfoot territory, Blackfoot land, without coming through Blackfoot Crossing. This was a stronghold. This was our strategic place that, and the thing is, it irritates me culturally wise that the colonizers tried to make it look like we had no culture, like we didn't exist, we were worthless, we had nothing in place so that they could justify taking all this beautiful land and abusing our resources. And they have taken that argument that we were less than and didn't really deserve it because we weren't civilized. So they some of this stuff kind of bothers me as I talk, so sorry here. I'm trying not to get overtly kind of negative, but what I'm getting at here is European culture came in, the colonizers, and they basically said we had nothing in place here. We didn't deserve it, that we had no title, nothing. So they took it, they claimed it, and it became theirs. They put us on these little worthless pieces of land that now they see value on and would like to extract our resources more and move. Anyhow, previously we had Blackfoot people were a dominant nation. We were a dominant society. You can't get to that place without having proper levels of governance, and you can't have such large masses of land without a military force being able to oversee it and to maintain it, just like when we go from Canada to the United States of America, we're entered into two areas and they funnel us through a checkpoint. Who are you? Where are you going? How long you gonna be here? Okay, it's okay, you go, pass through, but make sure you come back when you say. When you go to the States, that's what they're telling you. Where are you going? Going to BAB. For what? I don't know, get some gas. You're not going to be brought in. You got to have a purpose, or otherwise the Border Patrol turns you around. We had that in place. And I argued that this Blackfoot Crossing is that strategic place, that stronghold, that was our checkpoint. Nobody could cross through here and enter into northern Alberta, southern Alberta without our permission, and basically same as a border going to down there. You're checking in and we're knowing what you're doing and that. So that's the whole significance of Blackfoot Crossing, and it's been settled here for the dig fieldings that we have go to the 1600s, and we're still haven't even really gotten in that far yet. It's just amazing of how much time Blackfoot people have been right here, right where I'm sitting. Right where me and these young men are, we've been here for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Period. You don't believe me? Let's go talk to the archaeological evidence. And today I'm going to share with you some of this evidence. Okay? So in 1960, one gun brought Hugh Dempsey down. And I believe he brought down Hugh Dempsey and Forbes. And I think there was another person as well too, Richard Forbes, the archaeologist at the time. So one gun told Hugh Dempsey that these were peaceful occupants of the sites, but they moved back to their traditional homelands. And when they moved back, 2 Blackfoots left with them, and those Blackfoots never returned. Those Blackfoots their names were Eagle Ribs and Big Road. Eagle Ribs left with them, and he never returned. Okay? So recently, in 1960, one gun and his neighbor, Ben Caffrobe. Caffrobes still live down here. This is your grandfather. He invited and brought people here because these elders wanted to share this amazing, vast information and knowledge that exists here. They saw a purpose for it. And they led Senator James Gladstone, Hugh Dempsey, and Richard G. Forbes to the site here at Blackfoot Crossing. And and right at that time, did you scan that picture of those men standing there? No? Okay. Go to the names of the guys here. And pull it up so I could see. You gotta go to this camera down here. Switch to the artifact camera. So in this picture, it was of the original dig site. I mean, the original fellows that came in and dug. They're basically the first crew working here at Blackfoot Crossing, pulling out this amazing information. Could you go back? I'll read the list of names. Because many of you, these are your grandparents. And for some reason today, we're not so open to sharing info with stuff. But I'll tell you, these people, these names, all of them were so eager to share our information, our histories to this land and the time we've been here. So in that picture there's Matthew Smelting Tallow. He was the leader. Alex Skelplock, Ralph Crowchief, Matthew Slay. Go back to that picture. Tell me the names in my ears so I could relay it again. Alex Skelplock, Ralph Crowchief, Matthew Slay, Roy Littlechief, Paul Weaselhead. This was came in and started helping the archaeologists pinpoint the sites, the location, just they were part of it. And that's part of that history that's here today. Today, next year, young people, we dig and doing that. And some of you kids that are in university today, these are your ancestors, your grandparents. Wouldn't it be so awesome to at least for a summer or a few weeks, do some of that same type of work to carry on that legacy, and so that this could be shared in a proper way with not just Siksika, but the world. Okay, so could you put back on the PowerPoint? Okay, go back to the slide before. So these earth lodges, could you give me the time? These earth lodges are not just right here. There are a few of them set up along the river here, and some that have also been found in Axe Flats, Many Shot Flats, in the Blood Sand Hills, and Big Tobacco Flats. So these lodges are all over the place. Okay, go to so how we're going to look at this is there's two phases here over time that we're going to look at. And the phases are what they have dug out here. And it's basically layers in the rock. This is a picture of the Badlands. The Badlands really shows this so well, all the different time layers, Jurassic period. I don't even know any of the others. I just know Jurassic because of that movie. But, phases over time. We're looking at Old Woman's phase, roughly about 1000 AD to about 1800. And I've seen different interpretations of this time phase from 800 AD to 1500, but we'll just, for the sake of argument, we'll just say 1000 AD to the 1800s. And then we have the one guns phase, which is known as the one guns phase. And that's from basically the 1800s till the more recent modern type of unearthings and findings. So that's really important to know. In the first slides, I asked, who were these people? Were they ancient Blackfoots? Were they outsiders that came all over? The answer is both. But they weren't technically at the same time. Old Woman's phase are the historic ancient Blackfoots. These are my ancestors that were they were the ancients. One guns phase starts rough about when colonization and the encroachment of the white man and how things started pushing out. So that's about the 1800s there. And so what we have been there historically, we got, like I said, so far to the 1600s, and we're still just basically up here. We still have more to recent occupants of the site there that are thought to be Mandan. I'm just going to say thought to be, because to me it's really inconclusive, but it lines up with the encroachment of the white man, looking for a place to flee from the white man. And so a lot of them we're finding came here and were hiding. I'm just going to say they're called the Cluny people. The Cluny people. They are not Blackfoots, but they came during the time of the encroachment of Europeans, and they kind of hid there for a while. So on that original site, the original slides, and it mentioned from the different people saying, Crow, and then some, they went back home. That's absolutely correct. They went back, and I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Right in the 1800s, out here at Blackfoot Crossing, there is a tremendous amount of battle sites with the Crows. So I'm almost of the opinion they overstayed their welcome, and they possibly got chased back home. So, but that's just my opinion. That's inconclusive. Please don't put that in anything. That's just my opinion for what it's worth. Next. So what I'm going to show you here, just quickly here, what time is it? Oh, for the next 5 minutes, some of the findings that were found down here, specifically beads and pottery. Wow, pottery? Ah, Blackfoot's had pottery? You're kidding me. Yeah, nah. I thought only Navajos had pottery. Well, surprise, you're wrong. The Blackfoots had pottery as well. What are they going to eat with? What are they going to cook with? You know, we had pottery, and the way they're able to distinguish it is Blackfoots have always had traditional ways of putting on items onto when they do their beadworks, when they do anything. It's more of a symmetrical type of an artwork. And they're finding that on those pottery were those type as well. So, and that's distinguishable between other cultures. If you don't believe me and you don't know what I'm talking about, you think everything's thought made the same, think of beadworks. Blackfoots have squares, triangles, and then if you look at Crees, oh, I'm just so impressed with the artistic of the Crees and how they put in rose flowers and petals, and it's just so neat how they've taken that to an artistic level. That's a cultural difference, and that is a difference that is distinguishable between all tribes and cultures, that we have basically, we have what we do, we like what we like. You know, we have what we like. We do what we like to do. We don't really copy others. For hundreds, 1,000 years, it's been the same. Today, the young people, though, you see their beadwork. They got Chicago Bulls, Calgary Flames, and I don't know what to call that, though. That's money, basically. New, brand new, modern. That isn't historically how things were done. And the beads that they used were completely different. I'm going to show you here some of the stuff that was found. So nowadays when we think of beads, everybody goes to the glass, to the cut beads. Beads. Cut beads. Go to the regalia. Or the examples. So in here, this is an example of something that is made with the beads that were just shown in the page ahead. Kind of glass cut beads. This isn't Blackfoot style. I don't believe it to be Blackfoot style. I'm not too sure what it is, though. And then when I talk to Blackfoots and I talk traditional, historic type of beadworks, this is what everybody talks about and refers to. These are quill works. These are quills, porcupine quills. You can see that there. So they've always, when I talk historically beadwork and things that we've done, it's the quill works everything goes to. Could you pull up this camera down here? So no, it's not. Oh, no, put it on the, I see you put it on the window. Put it on the main. Yeah, I want the whole thing on there. I don't want people seeing me bend over right now. Okay, we have some bone beads here. So here is an example of, let's see here, a bone bead. It's kind of cylindrical. One side's kind of cracked off. Geez, kind of looks like somebody's fallen off toenail or something. Ugh. But that right there is a bone bead, and it's from, oh, let's see if this comes out. Oh, not quite. I'll show you some more. Is there anyone online that wants to do a guess? If there's anyone on the Facebook or anybody on YouTube and anyone in the Zoom chat. These bone beads that I have brought out, could you tell me which part of the animal that's from? Here's another. Oh, that one, a bit of effort to get into that one. Anybody have any guess what kind of animal these beads come from? And what part? Here's another one. Those little beads they sell at Michael's. Okay, so pretty well the consensus out there is nobody knows where these part of the bones come from. And that's okay. That's what I'm going to share with you here today. Let me show you another example here. That's another small, see how it's rolling there? Okay, put me back up on the screen. Okay, this is that bone bead I just shown you. I gave you guys a good look in there. Maybe if you got it on 3D. What that is, it's well known that historically Native Americans, not just the Blackfoots, utilized the dog. And the time period pretty well before the horse came in and the new colonization, it's what's known as the dog days. And in that, okay, in these dog days, dogs were the beast of burden, dogs were accessible. So these beads here that I'm showing you are what's known, they come from what they call canid metapodials. And they're dogs. And the part that these come from are on the paws of the dog, where the claw comes out. Just right where the claw comes out, there's a little hollow bone there that nail or that claw comes through. And that's what these are here. See this here? That's what these are. There's other bones in there too as well that they've used, but I find it so fascinating that they were, not only were dogs our beast of burden, they carried our stuff around, travois before the horse. We also use them to adorn ourselves somehow. what the purpose is, I don't know. Nobody knows. I can't honestly say anybody that knows those, because every single person I talk to is unaware that they use these bones as their beads. And these bone beads were, a lot of them were kind of tied on like leather and that. So the leather deteriorated and the beads stayed in place. What's the time? Okay, are the next guys here yet? Okay, maybe I'll just keep going till the next. Oh, I see them over there. They're just pulling in the parking lot here. So, we got another group scheduled here to do residential school. They're talking of their experience here right after this, and that's starting at 2. So be sure to, if you don't have the Zoom link for it, request it in on the Facebook here with this, and we'll give you the Zoom link so that you could talk with them and ask questions and hear their real personal stories. So that's coming up here right momentarily after I'm finished here. So just to kind of get back here to the bone beads and the candid metapodials, and what is the significance of them doing that? I don't know. Was it a special animal and they made jewelry out of it? Did that animal give them medicine and they worn it as medicine? I don't know. I guess for you out there that don't know, medicine isn't going to take a pill from the doctor. I think in our culture it more refers to a type of a power in that. So was it a medicine that they used? I don't know. But it's so neat knowing that they did use that. And just before I end off here, I'm just going to show you some fragments, some pottery shards, so that you can say, Blackfoots did have pottery. It wasn't just the Navajos. Man, I would love for some of the youth or somebody to pick this up and relearn this skill here. So here's some pottery shards. I'll just leave them in the bags here. You know, honestly, if we walk by them, it just looks like garbage, or not garbage, but stones, you know, flakes. Probably walk by them all the time down at the river valley in Siksika, but they're ceramics. These are potteries that they use, clay pots, and it's just so beautiful and wonderful learning new pieces of our culture and history that just aren't common knowledge, just not a whole lot are aware of it. So with that, I will give you a minute or two if there's any questions related to this discussion today. And if tune in to the last Wednesday this month. Oh, it might be my board meeting. If it's not, then it will be the first Wednesday of next month. Okay. Tune in at that time, and I'll elaborate more. We'll have this more structured and have more contents in and examples. And this is more, consider this like a white glove tour. So I guess we got a question from Adriana. Adriana, I'm not sure if you're talking at the moment. Your mic's still muted. But if you got a question, go ahead, unmute your mic and shoot. Yeah? Oh. They're coming back. Oh, they were. Wow. And those guys do a lot of work, and they're changing our environment back again. So that's good to hear. They're rebounding back. And so I guess they're here, and we'll start shifting gears. So if you're registered for the residential school experience program, that's next right after this, starts at 2 o'clock.